Well, hello, Pueblo. This is Pueblo Matters interview with Kassidy Hall. Say hi, Kassidy.
Hi, Pueblo.
So you're running for District 1
District 1,
in, where is that?
Pueblo.
In Pueblo, right? And it's where?
It's the northwest portion of Pueblo, of the city of Pueblo. So, really from Bonfort west, from the the out by Lowe's truck stop to downtown. So,
Oh, all the way up there,
yeah.
up by
So,
the frontage road up there,
yeah.
Dillon Drive and
Yeah,
everything.
all of that.
So
So,
Walmart
yes, that area as well.
and
So,
behind the Passkey on 50, on Highway
oh yeah.
50.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I was just walking that neighborhood yesterday. So,
Is it
that
Country
was
Club in your district? It
absolutely.
is?
It
All
is.
those Avenue homes?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's been fun.
Are you getting donations from those Avenue homes?
I am getting donations. I don't know exactly where they're all coming
Yeah,
from, but
yeah.
yeah.
Who's your campaign finance guy?
Randy Lennon.
Is it? Yeah,
Yep, he's very detail oriented.
I bet. I
So,
bet. I just learned yesterday that he worked at the XL. Well, it's Comanche 2 and 3.
right,
Yeah, it
right.
was interesting to hear that. 36 years, he said.
Yep,
So he knows a lot about it.
he does know a lot about it. And
Yeah,
for a detailed guy to explain it to you, to explain it to an expressive
yeah.
kind of.
Right, right.
But I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about Comanche, and I this has just been a incredible journey. I don't think I would have learned all of this if I hadn't stepped into this role.
Oh, yeah, it's not easy.
No,
It's not easy to
it's not
understand it
easy.
all, and I think being a counselor is a tough job. So you didn't know all these things.
Well, I
That
knew something about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known to ask questions. But I think the most enlightening thing for me so far has been when I'm in the neighborhoods and I'm talking to people, and our concerns are all the same. They vary a little bit, but they're all the same. Most of the women that I talk to in particular say, hey, we need to grow this economically so that my children don't have to leave for better opportunities, which I can understand. I'm a grandmother. It would be the best ideal job right now would be to be a granny nanny, but there's no money in that. So, and they live too far away. But to have, we used to be this way in America. We used to have generations that stayed in the same area, and even though they branched away maybe from a family business, they still counted on that family connection. I think that's important, and we're losing a lot of that.
we are.
And the economics is driving that, which is really sad. So,
Well, I interviewed one of your future co-counselors,
okay.
Ted Hernandez.
Oh, I like Ted.
Yeah, and Ted said that South High has gone from a peak of 1,300 students. I don't know if he said it was a peak, but when he started as the coach at South football team, he
Hmm.
said there was 1,300 students, and now there are 700.
Oh, that's sad.
It is. It's not half, but it's almost half.
It's almost half. Yeah.
Another 50 drop. So it is. So we're not having children, and the children that are having
They're leaving.
they're leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the ideal American family has been shrinking for a number of years, but and I don't know whether we can blame that all on economics. I think that, the whole idea of replacing yourself, the whole green energy idea of don't have any more children than
Yeah.
you can replace. It's like,
The
no,
population bomb, I think it
yeah.
was the book.
But we need to have more babies.
We do.
We need to
We
have
do.
seriously more babies.
We
So
do.
that's,
But that wasn't why you got into the council. So
oh,
why did you get into the council? Why or into the
into
council
the
race?
run.
What made you start thinking about it?
It was, I had been asked by several people
Uh-huh.
in the community, and I adamantly said, no, never. It's not going to happen. Because politics, as a rule, is dirty. And so I chose that if I was going to do this, it was never going to be a dirty race. So, but I had to think about it. And I think the deciding factor was my 10-year-old grandson, who we decided he wanted to talk politics, and he's pretty enlightened. And we were talking about, cause and effect, and and how people aren't getting involved anymore. And he said, "So, what are you going to do about it?"
He didn't say
He
that
did. Um,
expressively like that.
Expressively like he's very expressive.
Yeah.
So,
Think he's going to be an actor?
um, I hope not.
Yeah.
I
you
hope
you
not.
did acting though.
I did acting, but I think he's got a brilliant career ahead of him as an engineer or something.
Uh,
He's because he's a 3D thinker. He doesn't
yeah.
think
There
in a
there are
two
two
dimension.
modern slang phrases. One is called shape rotator. So
Okay,
that represents engineers, so they can rotate shapes and see the future and do
right?
things. And then there's the other contrasting one is called word cell, WORDCEL, kind of like incel.
Okay,
Incel is a standard straight person, and a word. So it's kind of a it's a incel is kind of a derogatory term. So
okay.
word cell is intended to be a little bit, take
Higher up.
a little bit derogatory. So
Okay.
there are people who deal in words and talk,
Hmm.
and they're politicians. And
I think that those people that can cross both of those channels are extraordinary, and I think my grandson is one of them.
oh, great,
I think that
that's great.
has all gone back to. I've been very impressed to watch both my sons actually parenting their children, not parking them in front of a computer screen, or they've actively been parenting, giving them experiences, helping them learn. And even before they were born,
Hmm.
they were reading to these children. So Jude is 10 years old and he's reading at a senior high school level. So I think that they put a premium on that. And the fact that he can, he's very sports inclined. I mean, he's tried every sport out there. He just recently finished a season of baseball. Um, I think that he's very grounded in his knowledge.
So your children left Pueblo too.
They did, but they left
My
with me.
children left Pueblo
Okay.
too, and one of them is thinking of coming back, but um,
It was hard. I mean, I met and married a local boy. He was an artist. And
word cell.
he was well, he was a technical director. He was brilliant. He was a technical director. He could design stages that fold down into boxes. I mean,
Oh,
he
so he
was
was
he was
a shape
brilliant.
rotator too.
Yeah, your terms, Dave. But that marriage didn't work, and so I took the kids and we went to Denver, and I lived there for a number of years, and met my last husband, the one we were together for 23 years, and he knew that I hated Denver after a while and wanted to get out of there. I saw it shifting and changing, and I just didn't want to be there anymore. Now, my children were not having babies at that time, so I might not have come back, but he knew that I wanted to be back in Pueblo. And so he said, "Go find us a place," which 2 seconds, I'm down the road. And Pueblo has some uniqueness about it that I haven't seen in any other city. And I have lived in a lot of them. It's got cultural activities here, it's got sports. Now we now have an indoor football team. I mean, how exciting is that? We've got hockey, we've got the cultural arts, we've got 4 theaters that we support. I mean, this is a very unique town, and I don't think the people that have lived here all this time realize that all of the stuff that could engage the youth is already here. But we just need to push that a little.
So do you think what we need is jobs for these people to
Yeah,
stay here?
I think
Yeah.
we need jobs,
Well,
but
interesting jobs, or what do you think when you think of jobs? We have the steel mill, which was is very hard work,
it is
and
very hard work.
this
But it was very necessary work.
it is for the country. It is,
Absolutely.
and it's. I think when we had the old steel mill, I think people bought a lot of boats and in El Camino off of those salaries, and they had to sell them when the steel mill went out. And we have a bunch of
But
late
that's kind of
seventies.
a testament to the city because the steel mill isn't gone.
No, it
They
isn't.
repurposed it and it is still producing.
It
And
is.
now it is, it's in its yeah, what third iteration of what they are doing. So when we're looking at when I was building my financial practice, okay,
Yes.
I took a marketing strategy of what market segment is something that will produce results over the next 5 years, and will that be able to generate itself for 5 years beyond that? I think when we're looking at economic growth here in Pueblo, we have to look at the same thing. Do we want to attract business here? And this is an all hands on deck kind of thing. It's not just one agency. The chambers need to get involved. Everybody needs to get involved in economic growth. But when we're looking at those opportunities, we need to compare that to our geography, what makes us different than any other place. We're not landlocked. We can certainly annex more land if we need it.
That's the Colorado way.
Well,
We've all read Missioner's Centennial.
the thing is, it's Pueblo's way. And it has been, we need to match those things too. We've got water, we've got resources, we've got a ready workforce that's willing to be trained. So I think it's all systems are go for, and honestly,
so have you talked to Petco?
I did.
And how?
And it was shocking.
What was it was shocking?
It was shocking because,
In what way?
well, this is going to get a little personal, but my father was the first economic industrial development director for the city of Pueblo. And
Before Petco.
before Petco.
Before the steel mill went out.
Before the steel mill went out. But my father placed a lot of businesses along Highway 50 out by the airport. He did a great job. And this is what he had done in other cities as well. He helped to develop, the land and title uses, and he did the site studies himself. He didn't have
A staff.
He didn't have a staff. He had a staff of 2 people. And he did a great job. And then
Did one of them type?
yes.
Yeah, I bet.
But there were other people in his office, but they were all focused on the same thing. And he did a very good job. And in fact, my father and I, we talked industry and economics, and we talked this. We didn't have a normal conversation. It was really all about that. And I learned a lot from him.
You learned more at Petco.
I did. Well, I went to talk to them because I felt like they replaced my father, so I had this emotional thing that I didn't want to trust Petco. And I have to tell you, it was very painful to realize I was wrong. Nobody likes to be wrong. And I was very impressed. And they gave honor and respect to my father. They showed me the groundwork that he had laid and the foundations that he had laid.
Wow.
And they were complimentary, and not in a false way. They were genuinely, and I learned a lot that I didn't know before, because
And you're one who was interested in this topic. I mean, because of your dad.
well, because of my dad, yes.
And now because you're running for council.
Well, not only, I think that you have to become very much aware of the city that you live in, whether you're running for office or not. What are you going to do to make a contribution to that city? I think you have to learn about where you live and what the potential is, and otherwise, why live there? We're not a sun belt. We're not housing sunbirds. We're not all running around in Class A RVs, and this is the perfect retirement community, though it is. It has a uniqueness about it, and I was very impressed with the knowledge that Petco knows that uniqueness. I mean, they're down the line already with some of these businesses that have a potential to come in. So why would we upset all of that and push that timeline out by not using their resources? Now, it's not just them, but we have other entities that are looking for business.
So you're referring to the contract that the city has with
Yeah.
Petco and the PDF organization.
Right. I think it needs to be renegotiated.
Is that what Heather's doing? You think
I have no
she
idea.
canceled the existing contract.
She did cancel it. I'm not sure what the motivation was for that. I think I'm hoping that it's not all completely political, because I think right now Petco is within striking distance of getting some things into the city that we need. And they're going to hold confidentiality with those businesses. You can't just go down there and say, okay, what's on the horizon? Because there's a lot of stuff that's happening behind the scenes that we don't know about, which was impressive to me. I didn't get to see everything, but I kind of got the lay of the land on what they're doing. And I think I think it needs to be supported.
I've been visiting Petco too, and it's I think it's Miranda and Shannon and Jeff.
Mhm.
They're very nice,
Yeah.
and I talked to Jeff quite a bit
Mhm.
about data centers and the power required, and learned a bunch of things from him
Yeah.
about the value of being quote behind the meter unquote,
Right.
meaning I think that means that the electricity is somehow cheaper because the state isn't involved and transmission lines aren't involved and so on. And they have thoughts and plans and those ideas. And
I think that the most Puebloans don't know what they're doing down there. Um, and I
down where?
challenge at Petco.
Oh,
So I challenge Jeff and everybody else is listen, do some town halls, let people know what you're doing because they have no idea. It's like, you know,
I've been threatening to get Jeff in here for an
you
interview.
should
Well, we keep saying we're going to talk to each other, and never happens.
do a man
But
on
he
the
might
street
be he
interview.
might be busy.
I think he might be a little busy. I had no idea everything that was involved in all of the things that they're doing and the feelers that they have out nationally and even
So
internationally with
how,
some of
as
this
a
business.
counselor, now that you've learned a little more about Pedco
Mm-hmm.
and their efforts to bring in um, family, you know, jobs that children might want, that
Mm-hmm.
young adults might want, what do you think you could do on council? Help them. Did he give you any ideas or anything?
Well, I think that we all have to take a real clear look at the contracting. I think we need to understand how the money flows and who spends it and how it is spent. And I think that there's a lot of challenges there. So I I think that counselors need to be involved when you get closer to the close of the sale so that they can see, the city, they're buying a city. They're not just buying Jeff Shaw or Pedco. They're buying the geography. They're buying a city. So they can come in and talk to counselors, and I think it would be a good idea to have them do that. And I think for the most part, my understanding is that some of these site managers have come in and kind of just come into Pueblo and they've done their own research
Oh, they
and
come into Pueblo before they even talk to Pedco.
right.
Oh,
And
interesting.
and also Petco just kind of opens the door and introduces them to people, and they're not really controlling that process. They're controlling the information.
Well, one of the things that I learned, I'm on the Pueblo Commission on Energy, it's
Mm-hmm.
called, but it's like the Energy Advisory Board. And we took a class in politics, and one of the things that we learned was ex parte. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have
Mm-hmm.
heard about that, but you can't just it's part of the open meeting laws, and
Right.
you can't really have a conversation with somebody if there's a measure on the agenda.
Correct.
But that doesn't do anything. I mean, Petco is not involved in that ex parte stuff, right? And so,
But they do have a certain, I mean, as I can speak to this as a financial strategist, I would
which you did for how
never,
long?
35 years, but I would never betray a confidence. If I was working with a small business, whatever happened between the strategist and the business, that's sacrosanct. You don't get to talk about that.
This is something that when we hear about, we can't talk about that because we talked about it in
Right.
executive
Right.
committee,
Right.
which city council seems to go into even during work sessions. They leave and go into the executive committee. Everybody, oh great, we can go home, but they can't. They have to stay in there,
Right.
and the same thing happens after regular sessions
Right.
too. So,
Well, I think that there's everybody thinks it's like some super secret meeting, and
no.
honestly, I don't know what's really happening in there, except that to say that if you are disseminating information out to the general public, do they will they understand the nuances of certain things, and is it necessary? So I think that there's a certain amount of things that need to be held closer to the vest, because if you don't, let's say you have a business that wants to come in, and then we start blathering about, oh, this business and they're going to do this. It's like, this business has shareholders. They have other, they have a certain
Well,
accountability that they have to hold.
I remember last summer when Elon Musk announced that he didn't even do the announcement, it was the Chamber of Commerce in Memphis, that they were going to put a data center in Memphis. It turned out it was in an old Electrolux factory. We don't have one of those, but we do have other
We do have
places.
lots of buildings.
But
Okay.
he put a data center in there in 120 days from that announcement. So that's what, 3 months? No, 4 months. And it was up and running in 120 days. So things can happen quick. But you heard nothing
Right.
about that until that Chamber of Commerce made that announcement. And they're
Right.
kind of, Chamber of Commerce in Memphis is kind of like our Petco,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I think there's a
They
lot
don't
of
have a
stuff that
Petco.
we don't hear about, which is good, because if we muddy the water with all of
Oh,
this conversation, things
yeah.
won't get done.
If Memphis had blabbed that,
Right.
maybe Elon would have come to Pueblo, right?
Well,
It's possible
yeah.
because we didn't blab, right?
I think that there's a high amount of discretion that is exercised within these organizations. And it's not just Petco. I mean, there's other organizations in this city that are focused on growth and livability standards for Pueblo. And I think that if you latch onto an idea and you haven't really formalized it and you keep talking about it, then it dissipates and it loses its concentration. And I think that I do think that Petco, however, needs to be a little bit more vocal about what they do, because I didn't know half of the stuff I learned until I sat down with Jeff Shaw. I
Wow.
So it's like I had no idea that you were doing that. I had no idea, and I was honest with him, and I said, "Listen, I've been angry with you for 40 years
Would you
because
go with me and to Pedco and talk with Jeff and
absolutely,
have some kind of uh, a recording and
sure."
like an interview?
If he's open to that. I
I
mean,
think he would be.
he's got a lot of stuff that he's spinning on a lot of plates right now. So I think that I found them all to be very genuine. And then they invited all of the candidates in to ask questions. And I thought that was very informative as well. So it was, I think
I
that
don't think I got invited.
Pasha, we should
Oh, it was council. All
council,
the council,
the
yeah, but
council,
not school boards
not school boards.
and not water boards, which is what
No,
I'm running for.
yeah. I
Yeah,
was just there as a prospective council person. So
right.
I can't, I don't understand what they were doing. I mean, I do understand that they wanted us to be able to answer questions and ask and
And get
answer,
answers, right?
and it was. I thought it was very informative. Not as informative because they had to paint it with a broad brush, but to be able to sit down opposite of Jeff and have him not be defensive. I was, I said, "Hey, this is how I have felt. So tell me what's going on." And he was very genuine, very real. And I thought, wow,
I like them.
I like him too. He's not a gregarious,
No,
expressive,
no,
okay? But
he's not a Trump on the golf course.
he's very knowledgeable about what he's doing.
He could be Trump's partner on the golf course, though.
He could be a strategic partner. I just think that he's very knowledgeable.
Right.
And so, and then
And so you're glad we have him.
I'm very glad we have him. I had no idea when I was at the legislative barbecue and his wife walks up. She and I have known each other for years. We've networked, but I said, yep, really? This is exciting." So yeah,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think that there's a
So
lot of good things going on.
does she go by Mrs. Shaw?
I, I don't call her Mrs. Shaw. I don't know.
Miss Shaw.
I never changed my name when I got married,
You didn't.
ever. I didn't.
No.
So probably, and it really upset my grandfather to not change my name.
Why did he think he was going to have responsibility for you?
No, but it was tradition,
Oh, yeah.
and you know,
You're right. So you've. What else can you say about Petco that you learned? Because you've got a platform which we haven't even got to yet,
Oh,
or a
no.
stump speech, but well, is that what they call it? A stump speech,
I would
elevator
just say
speech?
I would just say it's our platform.
Yeah,
I'm not stumping here,
yeah.
but I think that I don't think it's just about Pedco. I think that the city needs to know more about what they do, but I don't want to make Pedco the sole focus or the sole responsible party for bringing industry in. We're all responsible for this. So I talked to somebody, a constituent last night, who called me on the phone, and she says, "I have an idea," and I'm like, "Okay, great, let's explore it." So I said, "Well, if this is a viable idea and you have the statistics to back you up, or want statistics to back you up, can I introduce you to these people?" Yeah, sure.
So
So,
one of the things that I pushed for, I don't know if you recall, I went before city council for a 2 weeks apart, 3 sessions to talk about bringing data centers to here, and
mm-hmm,
I prefaced it by economic growth will save Pueblo,
mm-hmm,
and then the sub goal was Pueblo should be known up and down the Front Range as a place to start and maintain an extended family, and which means keeping kids.
generations here, yeah.
Yeah. So do you? But I set a 30-year goal. I wanted to set a 50-year goal, but it is a long range goal to work towards. I think to and you expressed it in the beginning of this interview that we need to keep our children here and not keep them here, but make it be attractive enough that
That
they
they want to
that they
stay.
want to stay and be part of an extended family and start their own extended family.
Well, but we have to give them more than opportunity, okay? Opportunity is great, and I want them all to have high paying jobs. But if your city's not livable, no one's coming, okay? So, a long time ago in a land far, far away, I worked with the cable industry before they all came up underneath the Mile High Cable, and we produced some spots for local businesses to increase foot traffic. Whole nother topic. We'll talk about that some other time. But we were in Denver, and people in Denver and Colorado Springs in particular got tired of thinking that all Silicon Valley was the technology capital of the world. So they came to Colorado because they were a mile in the sky. You're not paying $1,000 transponder fee to get to a satellite. So that was the reason, not that they were so economically advanced, but they became that way. And it was a boom area in Colorado Springs, in Denver. And they came and said, I don't want to move out of here, so I'm just going to start my own company, which they did. So there was a attitude there. There was a pioneer attitude of this is how we're going to do it. There wasn't a whole lot of government regulation on them like there is now. I mean, you can't even sneeze without getting the EPA involved. So we've got all of these regulations that's flowing downhill from Denver. And the fish stinks from the head down. So we're getting all of this stuff rolling down to Pueblo. Pueblo should resist that. We are a home rule city. So we have we have to make the city livable. It has to be livable. Good jobs, yes. We have to. We have cultural activities. We have. If what difference does it make how successful you are if you're too afraid to leave your house? So I know this is going to sound really off the wall, but I think every high school we built should have included a police substation. I think we need to get back to neighborhood policing. I think
Oh, that is an interesting thought. I hadn't heard that one from anyone yet. That's a great
that's
idea.
my idea. Um, that, and then you make it
The four high schools are distributed around the city pretty
right
much. Maybe just not.
evenly, right?
I
Really,
mean, I guess Centennial is on the north side. It's in your
yeah,
district, yeah.
yeah.
So,
And then I also think that daycare centers should be housed in independent living centers. The very young and the very old get along very well. So we are, we need to
a little
handle.
bit of forethought, things could be. a lot better with at
Could
no additional cost, really.
not really. I mean, I think that there's needs to be safeguards in place. Obviously, you wouldn't want a police officer dragging a drunk or a drug addict into a substation. We'd still need to have a central location for that. We're building a new jail, but you get back to neighborhood policing where you know the police officer, you can call him by name, and you come to depend. We're not teaching our children respect for law. Um, I I think that when you grow up in a good family, you get that respect, but it's not really taught community wide. I remember when my kids were in elementary school and they had the DARE program,
Right.
and it was a fantastic program. My sons learned a lot. Um, I thought, and it was community policing at its best. Now, I think in Pueblo, Colorado, we have some of the top talent and people are not even aware of it. I mean, I trust these guys completely. I think they have
The
put their
police department, you
the
mean?
police department has put their life on the line countless times. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now that we don't even know about, which is good. They're being proactive in their approach, but they're underfunded, and I think that
Well, I don't think council has refused
no, none of that.
anything that's happened,
Right.
but anything that's been proposed. But maybe that not enough things have been proposed.
I think that if you have some ideas and you have a think tank and you generate some ideas, then we need to pay attention to them. And
Right.
if it's going to improve their ability to get into the community, my concern is that we need enough officers to where we can do community policing. And if you have somebody in your that you know and respect in your neighborhood, then and the community needs to be involved in that as well.
So if we were to have four substations, one at each high school,
Mm-hmm.
uh, maybe at first just one at one high school. I don't know which one it'd be, but how would what would the staffing be there at that thing? Would there be a desk sergeant or
I would think,
a
yeah,
desk person?
yeah.
They might not have to be a commissioned officer.
Probably not necessary for a commissioned officer. However, there needs to be officers in the vicinity and that they become part of the school platform as well, so that first of all, the students need to feel safe. And
I guess at a substation like that, I'm just thinking on the spot here
mhm,
with this concept, which is new to me. Um,
I'm
you're
sure
trying.
you'll refine it and get back to me, right?
Shut up. So, shut up. So, so I would, I would say that as long as you could, it's locked.
Mhm.
You could run out and be the school safety officer. If there's an
Why not?
emergency, well,
Yeah,
you could just have to leave the place locked,
yeah.
and any officer would come and flash their
How long does it take them to
the
get to
chip
a
that
high
they
school
have in their
now?
hand, right,
Yeah.
and push it in.
Stop that. Um, how long does it take them to get there now?
A
So,
long time. So it'd
um,
be a minute to go if they're a little bit remote, the other side of the parking lot.
well, and these guys, I don't know whether you've seen the, recent stuff on,
There must
um,
be empty classrooms. When you go from 1,300 to 700, there's got to be an empty
I'm sure
classroom.
there's empty classrooms, but I think that, when we were designing high schools, I had said we need to put a police substation in here. How can we, state of the art, these high
Fit it
schools
in.
are
Yeah,
state of the
an
art high
outside.
school.
Yeah, we need an outside wall.
So
Yeah.
I just think that there's, if you think about the progression of things, then it makes sense. Just like daycares in assisted living centers, it gives life to both of them, and I it's just a no brainer.
So safe. People want to feel safe,
Yes.
and that's kind of a platform thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to work on. You want to work on
Mm-hmm.
and on that kind of area with any new ideas. And so you mentioned think tank.
Yeah.
Do you think we need think tanks in for
I think
different areas?
anytime that there is a creative expression, you put creative minds together, you're going to get the benefit of that somehow.
I'm on this energy commission
Right.
and commission on energy, and we don't seem to really be having a think tank.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
not yet.
in
So
order to have a free exchange of ideas. Okay,
Yeah.
you got to be able to express yourself, but you also got to leave your egos outside the door. You cannot go into a, a think tank kind of situation and say my idea is the best and this is what we're going to do. You can't do that. It's got to be a collaboration of ideas.
Right.
And I think some of the best things have come out of those things. So, um,
I know that I've been in problem solving. You could call them think tanks, things, and situations, and I've gotten patents out of being in the think tank because it's free enough that you can
express yourself.
you can understand the real problem and
Right.
not the hidden agendas
Right.
and
Oh, yeah.
office
Yeah.
politics or
How can
anything
you?
else. You actually work on the problem,
Right.
and safety in Pueblo is an issue.
It is an issue. And I think, now, I have to be clear here.
Uh-huh.
I have never felt unsafe in Pueblo.
Yeah, but you
I,
lived in a gated community.
however, I go downtown. I am not afraid to be alone.
You're on the east side.
Oh, Dave, I just think that I'm not going to spend time in gang territory. I'm not going to spend, I'm going to be very careful and cognizant of what I'm doing, but I've never been felt unsafe or I know I can't go out at night or um, I've never, this city has so many things to do if you're looking for them. Why would I deprive myself of that? I'm not going to.
Right.
So, and I'm certainly not going to let fear win. Um, and I trust that if I'm in serious trouble, that there will be somebody. They may not be there instantaneously, but if I called for help, I believe our police department would respond.
Well, with a substation at every high school
Mm-hmm.
with a coffee machine, there would there would be there would be someone relatively nearby. I
Right.
mean, I don't know.
I still think we have
I'd
to
have to
do
look at the circles,
neighborhood
the 1 mile,
watches.
2 mile, three
Yeah.
mile circles from the high schools and see how good it
But
is. But I bet it's within 4 miles.
we're all involved in crime
We
here.
are a 15-minute city.
Right.
You
Oh,
can go anywhere
in 15
in
minutes.
15 minutes, pretty much.
Please. The but the we're all involved. Neighborhoods have to be involved. We have to
Right.
do our own form of policing. We have to be. It's like I have a 91-year-old mother, and I love her. She's going to be a garden gnome by next year. She's shrinking, but
She's ranking, yeah.
she always leaves the garage door open. It's like, Mom, you cannot do that. She goes, Oh, come on. I've lived here for all this time. And I said, Mom, there's a first time for everything. She goes, Well, I have a cane. I said, You're 91. Stop. So,
She has a cane. She's going to hit somebody with a
yeah.
cane.
See, she doesn't feel scared either. So,
Yeah, right.
it's like we have to pay attention. We have to guard our neighbors. We have to all be involved in the solution. And I think that we have pushed it all back on it's just a police problem. It's really not.
We have this is getting a little bit away from safety, but not that far. We have right now 229 properties that are troubled properties that maybe they've been invaded. But I think when we have these properties that are invadable, we make a target-rich place,
Yeah.
and we need to fix that. Do you have any thoughts on
I don't think we have enough time. But
on fixing the
I think there are
because some of them need to be torn down.
yeah, there's clearly they need to be torn down, but then you've got to like I said, we are so um oh, how do I put this? I mean, if you break a fluorescent light bulb in your house, you practically have to call a hazmat team in to come in and sweep it up. So, could we just go back to some kind of common sense and say, get a bulldozer, let's take this thing down? I think that there's a lot of things that we are held back from by regulation. And let's take a look at those things and see if we can loosen some stuff up. And because I was involved in the fires up north, and we had some property that was near Fairway. I didn't rebuild. Um, because I thought, realistically, how often do we spend any time there? I didn't rebuild, but
What do you mean you didn't rebuild?
I did.
The house burned?
Well, it was a cabin. It was a
Oh! Did you say fair play?
Yeah,
Fair play.
yeah.
Okay.
But I
South
didn't.
Park.
Yeah, I didn't rebuild it. I paid to have it bulldozed off. I mean, it's wonderful land. If I had an RV, I would drive it up there because there's electrical but it just I didn't need anybody's permission to take that down. So,
Right.
but how many people do we have to ask before we start taking care of neighborhoods? Let's.
Right.
So I think there's a.
Well, we've got EPA and we have state
Oh
EPA.
gosh, yes, we have to ask permission from absolutely everyone. I mean, and then trying to regenerate all
So
of
you
that.
would be for reducing the government.
Yeah, yeah. I'm for reducing regulations that make it very hard for people to live. Um, I have a couple of friends that are realtors. It's the regulations that got pushed down for financial people as well as realtors uh, through the Department of Labor, through all of these different things. It's like you're kidding. And now, if you do a new build on a house, you have certain guidelines that you have to fulfill. You have to put in a recharging unit somewhere on your house if you're going to do a new build. That's the new law.
No way.
How long is that? I mean, seriously, a
Not
young.
just run the wires to a spot that you could
No,
put one in. You
you
have to
got to have it.
actually have a
Yeah,
recharging.
you got to have
And
it.
that's a state law?
It's rolling down from the fish head. Um, so yeah, it's these are new build regulations. It's just, it's
So
crazy.
on council, they regularly, when I say regularly, I mean every 3 years, which for me is regular because I've been following them for a long
Okay.
time. And and they will pass NEC, National Electrical Code, things that come out every three
Mm-hmm.
years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, I think there's building codes and other things. But would you always pass those, or would you say no?
It would depend on the bill. I mean, I can't just blanket say I'm not going to do this or
But
I
you would consider
I
not.
would consider not. Yeah. The pushback from my organization from when I was actively in financial strategy, they wanted us to they didn't want anybody to charge fees. And so they wanted everybody to disclose. It would have wiped out all of these small mom and pop shops that were and independent insurance agents who had a pop up shop on a corner would have eliminated them all because they didn't want them to charge fees. And then they started going in and saying you have to fill out all of these forms if you're charging this, and you have to make full disclosure. Well, I don't think that full disclosure is a bad thing. I've always told my clients this is how I make money. You should want to know that. And so, but the regulations that was pushed down from the DOL, they were,
Department of Labor.
yeah. At the time, Perez was the guy that was pushing all of this stuff down, and um, it was oppressive. And it's like, why? Why? If insurance agents for years have been taking good care, we're all fiduciaries. If you sit across from somebody and you're talking to them about their retirement strategies or what, you're a fiduciary at that point. You need to be taken. The client is sacrosanct. All of the um, stuff
But
that
but
gets
in the
pushed.
building trades, I think like for the electrical, they come out with a new plug, and they
Well, you know that you
this
own an
is
iPhone. How many different plugs have you had for? It's called designed obsolescence.
two.
Yeah, yeah, and the plugs are different.
Yeah, I have
So,
two different. I
yeah,
have a lot of phones that are the old plug.
right.
They're 6 to 12 years old,
There you go.
but they have the same plug. And but I just got a new iPhone, and it has the new USB
That
plug.
has it's all changed, and they do it. I think that there's some monetary strategies
Well, no,
associated
I
with
think
that.
on the USB plug, the new USB plug is much faster.
That's fine, Dave. I'm just saying that if your timeline is to retire here and you start here,
Hmm.
then you have all of these obstacles that you have to overcome, and one of them is designed obsolescence. Who knew that we were going to need to buy $1,000 iPhone every 3 years? That's going to interfere with the plan to get where we're going. Who knew that we're going to have smart TVs and all of that? I mean, we need to push back a little bit. And I think that regulation has gotten out of hand. I think somebody's brother-in-law needed a job. Hey, let's put
Well,
him
I'm
in
just
charge of
saying with
this.
the building codes, they some electrical plug manufacturer comes up with a new design of a plug that is quote safer unquote, and it's been tested by the underwriter laboratories, and yes, it is slightly safer,
You
but
and I are saying the same things.
yes,
Okay.
but in you're correct. You're saying it from your experience, and I'm saying it from somebody who wanted to put solar on. Okay, and they every year they say, okay, now we have to be able to shut this off from outside before going in the house because we don't want our firefighters,
It was the same thing when I owned a
shocked,
Prius, because the first Priuses that came out, they didn't have a kill switch, and they would use the jaws of life, and then
get shocked.
they'd get
Yeah, they
shocked.
put the
So
batteries in the roof. So,
no, that they actually, but it's interesting. I don't know. I
but you
think
see what I'm saying?
I
They
do.
they 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 just will. It seems to me willy nilly, in change the regulations. And it isn't like we could say we could insure a place. This house is a 2014 meets the 2014 codes,
Right.
and this newer house meets the 2017. This one meets the 2020. This one meets the 2023 codes. You
But
know,
they keep changing codes.
well, they keep
So
changing. So
then you have to retrofit. So
no, no. Oh, why do we need to retrofit? It was
because
safe when
they,
it was built.
yes, it was safe when it was built, but now the new EPA standards or the clean air, whatever. So it's a way, oh, this is going to sound really like conspiracy theory, but it's a way to control the population. It's a way to get control. And it's like when we were pioneers and we came out and did the land rush, and we didn't have all that regulation. And then we formed these little cities, and some council member says, "Oh, we need to have this." And I mean, we need to be looking at individuals who are entrepreneurs, encourage the entrepreneurship without regulating them to death so that they can get their inventions to market. I mean, that's a simplified version of how I feel, but I'm really tired of being taxed on everything or having to pay a fee, which is an end run around Tabor.
Right.
So
Hadn't thought of it that way.
yeah, it's an end run. So I lived in Arapahoe County at the time, and I had a thing that I was pulling on the back of my car. I had to go get an extra tag for it, and there was all these fees associated with it. I said, "This is a tax," and they're like, "No, no, it's a fee." I said,
So do we have a lot of those in Pueblo?
"I don't know. I don't. I haven't pulled a trailer in a long time, but
I don't mean specifically in a trailer, but fees for things.
yeah,
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
I know
Look at your utility bill,
our power bill has a lot of these things on it,
right? I,
and the registration for
oh
the
yeah,
cars.
yeah, yeah. But
The
there
whole backside of the thing is filled with separate
fees.
things. 20 cents here, 50 cents there.
Right. So it's an end run around Tabor. If you need tax dollars, hey, we'll just assess a fee for this. That's taxation without representation, and that should be wrong. So I don't think that makes me radical. I just think it
No,
makes me an
I
American
don't
who
recall.
wants fairness.
The only thing I think I recall coming before council is maybe parking fees or assessing businesses for
Well, I
parking
don't
fees, and every home had a parking fee. Um,
how crazy. The I don't I'm not just tying this down to Pueblo. I'm this as a general rule. Americans are paying through the nose for stuff that we used to do all the time.
so small government starts locally.
Right.
That's
Right.
your
Right.
that's not a platform.
All politics is local, is
Is
what
it?
they say. Yes.
Is that part of your platform? You
I
think?
I would say, yeah, we need to
So we talked about safety. We
right?
talked about economic development. We talked about
Culture.
30.
Class.
We talked about the theaters, and we talked about my 30-year goal of
Mm-hmm.
what which you also stated in the beginning of having it be a place for extended families. The
Right.
children stay here. What else you got? What else you got on the platform that you've been talking about when you go around talking to the
Well,
chambers? And,
I'm listening to people when I'm out in the street and I'm talking to them. I'm telling you, I've had the best time. And I have their concern is about safety, and streets and infrastructure. I cannot tell you how many pothole conversations I've had with people, and I I need to go back and research this, but I remember being at a council meeting when Ray Aguilera was just going on about our streets, and he got some allocations set aside to help these streets.
yeah.
Well, what happened to that?
Well, I remember that in the 2008 downturn,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a housing downturn
Mm-hmm.
due to
It was a lot of downturn. There was a lot of
yeah,
portfolios.
but I think it was an echo of the tech downturn of the 2000. But um, there's another one. I was victim of it, not victim of it. I was a participant in it, and but where was I going with that?
Infrastructure.
All right. So the sales tax or the gasoline taxes, which I guess aren't sales taxes, but the gasoline taxes were supposed to come from the state. They collect them.
Mm-hmm.
And Pueblo's allocation was, I don't know, $3.9 million supposed to be. I think it's now 5 million. I think I just heard at council. And and
That's going down though because of the EV.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, but 3.9 million um, was supposed to be for 8 or 10 years. I think it was 10 years. And our friend over there at Pueblo Bearing Service sued the mayor. It was the mayor at the time, but it was council before. He was city manager council before that. That they had not spent the 3.9 million per year on the roads for 10 years because they
Allocated it somewhere
allocated
else.
it for employee keeping employment.
Here's the thing. They were right to sue. I think if you tell the citizens this is what we're going to do with the money, then you better damn well do it. Because I think that there's not a lot of transparency that's going on right now.
Really?
I think that there are, if the citizens are counting on you, the cities are designed to protect the citizenry. That's their job. They're not a profit center. They're not designed to make money. They are designed to take the taxes and do the work of protecting the citizens, police and fire, and infrastructure.
Roads and
That's in,
storage and
that's yep,
stormwater. Yeah.
there you go. That's infrastructure. Okay, so if you take money and you say this is what it was allocated for, then prove it. Prove that it was allocated for that. We don't have a complaint if that's the issue. But
I mean, maybe there wasn't enough money, so you didn't get to the stuff as quick. But at least the money that you said you were going to do, you spent
right. And
on
show it.
on. Yeah, right. Sure.
And show it. So, I mean, that's how.
We've got very nice pickleball courts.
Yeah, lovely. Um, and there's okay, that's okay. But where did we allocate that money from? That's all I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we need to do what we say we're going to do, and then do it and show it. Show your work. Um, when I am, if I were in my home and I can't pay the bills, I don't get to go to the neighbors and say, "Well, I've got a little bit of shortfall right now. Um, can you chip in?" That doesn't happen. Okay, or I can't go to the mortgage company and say, "Oh, wow, well, I just don't have it this month." They don't care.
They don't.
So we,
But
I'm not.
I seem to be asked for money at every street corner, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So,
that's what I refer to as homeless privilege.
right.
So, and not only do they ask you for money, but then if they decide that they want to move to another street corner, they just leave all of their stuff there, and some city worker has to risk life and limb picking up all their trash. That's just crazy. So I I'm all about helping people get off the street.
We got about 4 minutes left
Oh, okay.
or less. And so I don't think I got a definitive stump speech out of you. So,
Because you keep interrupting me.
well, I am running for water board.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
So,
There you go. Um,
and I didn't talk about my goals for that. But,
okay.
all right.
Um, I think we pretty much covered everything.
You do?
I
Anything you felt missed? You missed?
well, I'm sure that if we,
Have your goals changed since you started running?
somewhat,
Yeah.
but still, the motivation for running is the same. I want to, I want to see things get a lot more organized. I see a lot of vitriol and hostility, and that's never accomplished anything.
No.
It has never accomplished anything. I said, when you see that kind of animosity, get down to the roots and figure out what the heck's going on.
Yeah. Ted Freeman used to talk quite a bit at City Council and Public Forum. I learned from him.
Mm-hmm.
And he he would have very long written statements,
Mm-hmm.
and he would get about a quarter of the way through or a third of the way through before his 5 minutes ran up. Do you think that this is? I've never asked this question of anyone. Do you
Okay.
think that City Council should be limited in their speech time, like 2 minutes, and then give it to another councilor and go around the horn? And if it comes back,
That might be a good thing. That I think that if we're going to filibuster or anything, for heaven's sake, I think that would be. I think there's a couple of things that City Council needs to do. First of all, we need to either meet more times,
uh,
um, because the citizens have a right to redress. They have a right to bring stuff before the council, and it seems like that's kind of shoved off to the side while they're busy arguing with other departments. We need to make sure that citizens are being heard, and we give them a microphone and we say, well, you got 3 minutes, go. So I think that we need to spend a little bit more time. Either that or we need to have it. My intention, at least in District 1, is that once a quarter we're going to have a town hall meeting. I want to know
in your district.
in my district. I want to know what's happening. And I want, and don't say, well, I never get to talk to you. Well, show up. We have, I don't know what the percentages are across Pueblo for, we're in an off-year election, so people just, but they're checking their ballots out the door. They're not voting.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, it's not engaged.
But
And I don't know.
everybody needs to be engaged.
Well, yes.
They need to be engaged. So I think City Council needs to hold themselves accountable for their dialogue and how they speak to one another. Oh gosh, when I remember back in middle school.
Kassidy, I'm going to have to cut you off.
Oh no, don't cut me off.
Okay, keep going.
We need common courtesy lessons.
Okay. This has been another Pueblo Matters interview. It's number 22, and we're speaking with Kassidy Hall, who is running for councilor in District 1. You're listening on KOYC Radio 98.5 FM. Our telephone number is 719-404-3750. And we're signing off. We love you, Pueblo. Bye.
Bye. Vote. Turn your ballots in.